The telecom sector in India owes 1,47,000 crore worth of dues to the Government of India. This includes 93,000 crore towards license fee and 54,000 crore towards spectrum usage charges. This also includes the interest and penalties. So how did this number become so big and what's the issue? The telecom operators have to pay a part of their adjusted gross revenue as license fee to the Government of India, which means the more the adjusted gross revenue, the more will be the license fee collected by the government. And what is adjusted gross revenue? AGR is nothing but gross revenue minus certain deductions. The problem here is in the definition of AGR. The telecom sector believes that AGR should only include revenue from activities which are directly related to the license, whereas the government believes that AGR should include activities from all sources of revenue. For example, if you go to a Vodafone store, there are a number of handsets up for sale. And the telecom operators believe that the revenue from sale of handsets, revenue from interest, dividends, and proceeds from sale of assets should not be included while calculating AGR because these activities are not related to the license provided by the government. On the other hand, the government believes that all this revenue will be included while calculating AGR. Including all these activities would mean a higher AGR, which means a higher license fee. Remember what I told you, the more the AGR, the more will be the license fee. The matter finally went to the Supreme Court, which upheld the government's definition of AGR, which means that sources from all the revenues will be included while calculating AGR. The Supreme Court also directed all the telecom operators to pay their dues by 23rd of January 2020. But these dues have not yet been paid. Vodafone Idea owes about 53,000 crore, Bharti Airtel owes about 35,000 crore, and Tata Teleservices 13,000 crores. All these three companies have filed an application in the Supreme Court seeking more time to pay their statutory dues. So how did this number become so big? The total burden of license fee on all the telecom operators is about 93,000 crore, whereas the principal amount is just 23,000 crore. The rest of the 70,000 crore, which is about 75% of the total amount, comes from interest, penalties, and interest on penalties. Now let's go back in time to understand the situation a little more clearly. The government liberalized the telecom sector in 1994 under the National Telecom Policy. They also started charging a fixed license fee, which means that the telecom operators had to pay a fixed fee to the government for operating in the country. For example, if the fee was fixed at Rs 50, then the telecom operators had to pay 50 rupees regardless of their revenue. Even if they were earning 100 rupees, 200 rupees, 300 rupees or even 50 rupees, they had to pay the fixed license fee of Rs 50. A major change was introduced in the National Telecom Policy of 1999, which brought in a revenue sharing model. According to this, the telecom operators had to pay a certain part of their revenue to the Government of India, which means that if the amount was fixed at 15%, then the telecom operators had to pay 15% of their adjusted gross revenue. So if their revenue was 100, they had to pay 15 rupees. If their revenue was 200, they had to pay 30 rupees and so on. This new model of revenue sharing was adopted by most of the telecom companies because it gave them immunity from the high fixed license fee that the government was previously charging. So fast forward to 2003. The Association of Basic Telecom Operators along with other telecom operators filed a case in TDSAT, which is the go-to place for telecom related disputes. They argued that the Government of India did not take into account the recommendations by TRAI or did not ask for recommendations from TRAI while deciding on the definition of AGR. Since then, the case has been going back and forth between the Supreme Court, TRAI and TDSAT, where TRAI and TDSAT are kind of on the same side as the telecom operators, and the Supreme Court of India has given a judgment which upholds the definition given by the government. The Supreme Court has also clearly stated that the definition of AGR was already informed by the government to the telecom operators and is a part of their contract. With the coming of Reliance Jio, the telecom sector is already facing a lot of competition. They have started offering deep discounts to compete with Jio, which has drastically reduced their profits. Moreover, these telecom operators are already in a huge debt burden. Bharti Airtel and Vodafone Idea Both have a debt of about 1,25,000 crore each. It will be interesting to see how this pans out in the future. Will the telecom operators be able to crack a deal with the government which gives them more time to make the payments? Or will they be able to make a deal in which their interest and penalties are reduced? This is Akshit Chawla from Team Newsbox.